That's my new title for it. Yes. When Morgoths attack.
Okay, so it's been a few minutes since we've been on last, and scheduling and such.
But we're back.
Yeah, so,
yay!
Good morning, friends.
Hi. How are you?
So anyway, back to whatever episode it is. I'm keeping track of the Creepy and Weird podcast. I'm Amy.
I'm Jamie.
And today we're going to be talking about the case of Rod Farrell, the Kentucky vampire
clan.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one's fun, kind of. I mean, it's fun to riff on. I don't know. Maybe that's just because, we are familiar with it to a degree, and its topic matters.
Mm-hmm. So, Roderick Justin Farrell was born in 1980, and his family apparently was moving back and forth between Murray, Kentucky and Eustis, Florida, and that's how he met the girl whose parents end up getting killed.
That's Heather, right?
Heather, yes.
Yes.
So, Murray, Kentucky was home to a bunch of vampire cults that would hang out on the corner and go to burger joints and things, and they just see them walking up and down the streets.
Now, hold on. I got to interject. Can we say, let's be real and call a spade a spade. These were LARPers. Not so much
Morgoths.
Vampire. Yeah. And yes, but yeah, just to set the record straight, they were LARPers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry.
And they played like D&D, and they played Vampire the Masquerade, and they
gave people like us that played it a bad rap.
Yeah.
Without me.
But
yeah. So sorry, I just outed us. We were tabletoppers, But it's shit like this that ruins it for everybody. Fuckers. Anyway, sorry. I'll shut up now.
So and they took it a little further than just to the tabletop. They would embrace each other, and take it into the real life, and cut each other under a tree in the cemetery, and they would decide that this would be, the vampire head of vampires siring the others for his family.
So to those of you who don't speak this level of geek, embracing is a reference to White Wolf's Vampire the Masquerade. And when you get embraced, you are made a vampire. You're a human who's made a vampire. Okay, there's your geek speak.
Yeah, our translation here.
Yes.
And what is it? Murray, Kentucky was an alcohol-free town, and they just go on and on about how everybody's religious and church-going, and that there's a church for every 300 residents there.
I'm pretty sure that on the sign for Murray, it's like, welcome to Murray, no fun.
Mm-hmm.
No fun. No fun zone.
Fun is
Murray is a
here.
no fun zone. Yes.
Yeah. So, anyway, his mother was named Sandra, and she was kind of a weirdie too, and I guess
actually,
she did
I'm sorry.
D&D too. Yeah.
Before we get too far, I have to actually maybe say, you know what? Maybe Murray had they were onto something there with it being like the no fun zone. If people are doing shit like this, anyway, sorry.
They needed to figure out something to do. So
something.
Yeah, and so Rod didn't ever meet his father until he testified at the trial, which we'll get to later, but then the father wouldn't talk to him or acknowledge him and called him the child. And
because his mom Sandra and Rod's dad, which I think his name is Rod also, they were young. Yeah. They were teenagers. So, it was a case of she got pregnant. They were teens. They got married and found out that that really wasn't the best choice. And I think this factors into partly due to the backstory of Rod and where we go with him later. But yeah, so his dad, after a year of marriage, bailed on his mom, was like, fuck this isn't what I signed up for. I'm out. and did not have any form of communication at all with Rod until, I mean, I don't even think he communicated with him. I don't know. I mean, I really wasn't there.
No, it said they didn't. And he never showed up until the trial 18 years later.
Yeah. So anyway, sorry.
So they would they would drink and do drugs and have rituals.
Uh-huh.
And Jaden was the guy who sired Rod, and
he was the head of the family. Name.
Yeah, I don't remember anybody's. Like Vasago was Rod, but I don't remember the others.
Right, but they all had vampire names.
Yes, but everyone had vampire names
and lived completely alter egos.
Yeah. Where do I find? Okay, Farrell told people he was a 500-year-old vampire named Vasago. Okay. But anyway, Rod was deciding that he didn't really want to be like the vampire child. He wanted to have his a family of his own, a vampire family, so he wanted to like break off, and he was talking about he'd like to kill Jaden or something, and that led to this altercation between Jaden and Rod. Where
yes, because they wanted... because this isn't like tabletop. These aren't characters. Like, this shit's happening for real. This is where, like, there's no line.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, but, like, yeah.
So at some point, Rod killed a kitten and, like, threw it or something, and then, like, something about a humane society was broken into, and, like, the puppies were mutilated.
Yes, they cut through the fence and like stole all the puppies from a humane society and then took them out in the field and
like chopped them to pieces and drank the blood or poured it on each other or something.
And once again, this might be why shit like this might be why Murray's in a fun zone. Thanks, Rod.
Yeah. So anyway, apparently the sheriff's office was looking for Rod, and so Rod turned himself in and said, I hear you're looking for me, but I didn't do it, and he supposedly had an alibi, and I don't know what happened with that. Later on, I
was LARPing at the mall outside the Hot Topic.
Yeah. And then, like, also in this Kentucky Vampires, like, Real Stories documentary, there's, like, they're interviewing all these other people, like the guy with the skating rink, and then there's, like, the lady who says, oh no, there's men wearing nail polish walking down the street, and we think, what are you?
Yeah.
And I just want to go, one more thing. I just want to go into, every true crime thing you ever watch, they always say, he looked like the guy next door, how could he? Because they expect him to look like this, and that's what causes issues for people who are, like, the same age as him. Hi. who kind of dressed like him. Hi. And did 18 years ago or 25 years ago.
Yeah.
So that pisses me off. He's ruining everybody's fun.
Yeah. And you could show, we have pictures, we have proof, we showed it, Marilyn Manson episode. Anyways, just to do a little callback here. And I think I just want to say too, this is something fun for me because it, once again, like the Marilyn Manson episode, it's another nostalgia kind of episode for us too, being like age appropriate at the time and, being familiar with like what the fuck they were doing. And, even at that like point, well, we were too lazy. We were too lazy to ever LARP.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be real. But, why when we could sit inside air conditioning?
Mm-hmm. We could sit around and watch vampire movies,
Yeah. And, it's
The
like
Craft or something.
Yeah.
Vampires and witches and
horror
movies and shit.
Did I still say one of my favorite and vampire movie scenes ever? And it's so funny because I'm not a fan of this actor I'm about to cite, but my favorite vampire movie scene ever is Tom Cruise as Lestat in Interview with a Vampire when he just throws the whore back into the coffin once she starts to realize what's going on. I don't know why, but I was like, always at that scene. And I just, well done. Favorite vampire movie scene. Anyways, total distraction here, but that's part of the journey. What totally got me with these guys though is like the town and I think part of it was, we're going to do this just to provoke a reaction from the people in the town, because it seems like, I mean, it's a lot of religious people, seems like, a lot of older people. And I mean, what do you do when you're young? You rebel. It doesn't matter what you rebel against, it's
wear
like
trench coats and you walk up and down the street and eat
right.
at the burger joint.
I mean, that could have been like the gothiest town ever, and those kids would have started listening to country music, because it just, it was going to happen with them regardless. Yeah, I mentioned earlier, let's talk about Heather.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about Heather, because she wasn't expressly drawn into this group, this vampire group.
Yeah, Heather Windorf.
Yes. And she had like a friendship or a relationship. I'm not really sure which one, because it doesn't really spell it out in anything, like even doing the research on it. It was kind of a little difficult tracking her down.
Yeah, so
throughout this.
Yeah, she lived in Eustis, Florida, and Farrell and his mother would move back and forth, like, I guess several times, I don't know, between Murray, Kentucky and Eustis, Florida. So somehow they end up, at least striking up a friendship.
Right. And yeah, like part of me wonders too, the moving a lot once again, because we mentioned like Rod's mom was really young. So like they had almost like a same interests too.
Yeah.
So a lot of these things that, Rod came to like and appreciate in his youth came from his mother, Sonia. All right.
So apparently his mother Sandra's parents, Rod's grandparents, acquired a home in Eustis, Florida around 1990. And then while he was there with them, that's when Farrell became friends with Heather Windorf. And the newspaper described her as a troubled Eustis High School sophomore who rebelled against her parents.
Well, I can't imagine her being like the captain of the cheerleading squad and wanting to hook up with this fucking douchebag.
Yeah.
Just saying.
So then after moving back to Kentucky in 10th grade, Farrell would call Heather collect, running up like enormous long-distance collect phone bills, and then apparently her parents caught on to this and raised a pretty big stink,
Right, of course, because 90s phone bills, man, holy shit. I remember one time, like, because I had my own phone line, because I had my own computer, that.
Yeah.
And I remember one time, like, a couple long distance calls on my own, and I'm like, holy shit, my bill's $200. What the hell am I going to do, And, yeah, so.
Yeah, I remember just getting those phone cards and using those a lot, because back in the day, we couldn't just call people anywhere, like out of town, out of state and shit,
Yeah.
Not for the same price as people in town. And people,
man, even where my grandparents lived, if you recall, like, it was a long distance call to call them, and they live like,
not that
they
far.
lived 15 miles away.
Yep.
Yeah. So
anyway, Heather's parents are understandably mad about the phone bill, and Heather was very angry, according to her sister.
That's Jennifer, right?
Yes.
Her sister's Jennifer?
Yes, and then, so anyway, Heather's complaining to Rod that, her parents are terrible, and saying that her parents are abusive and terrible or whatever, and she wants them dead. And meanwhile, Rod has all these fantasies of killing people anyway.
Yeah, she's just being like a rebellious teenage girl, and this guy's like picking up like, I can do this.
Yeah, she's just being a pissed off teenager saying, I hate my parents, I wish they were dead. Right. And then he's like,
she was probably ragging it.
Yeah.
It's teenage hormones where, it's like someone would look at you and you would just scream it and be like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe like die in a fire,
Yeah.
Okay, so where are we? Okay, so anyway, Rod at this point is wanting his own vampire family LARPing group, because Jaden was his sire and in charge of things, and he was kind of the boss of the vampire family. So anyway, they get into some sort of altercation, and in interviews they're like all pulling up their sleeves and showing like these gruesome self-cutting things.
Yeah, so they could use their blood for their blood rituals. Their embrace. And because the one guy wasn't I thought the one guy in the group, he technically wasn't a vampire yet. He was a ghoul. They hadn't embraced him, I think. So, yeah, we can get some descriptions going on here, some definitions. And I apologize. Because I know you can hear that. My landscaping guy showed up. I'm so sorry.
So anyway, Heather's pissed off at her parents, and Rod's kind of unstable, and he's a LARPer.
Yeah.
No offense to LARPers who aren't murderers, but
because you can LARP and still understand the difference between reality and fantasy.
Yeah.
For Rod, and I want to even say some of the other kids, the lines are blurred. Like, I don't even think there was a line to begin with. It was just like, yep, this is it. This is what we're doing. Yay, go us. And yeah. So it kind of makes me wonder, like, it really, for me, throws all of Murray into question. Like, first off, how kind of fucked up is this town that, like, or is this just isolated? I mean, I want to say, yeah, it probably is isolated. I mean, I need to look at, like, more on the city of Murray, I guess. But, but
they
instead
got churches
of
and skating rinks and vampires.
Right. I mean, like, it kind of makes me wonder, like, if you have these kids and you're going to describe them as, clearly Rod is troubled. Mm-hmm. I don't know about the other ones. They might have, like, grown up just fine and made it out on the other side, sitting back, talking about, God, stupid shit I used to do when I was a kid. We all have that story. But, it makes me wonder. But for Rod, that wasn't there. That just wasn't there. And even in that documentary, like, I don't know. There's just something about him. There's just something about him that I'm like, yeah, you're where you belong. You where you belong, dude.
Not just the way he
thank
talks.
God they got you sooner rather than later.
Yeah. So, at this point, Rod's like, sure, I'll kill your parents for it. And, he and, what is it? Is it 3 friends or 2 friends? Let me find the names here.
Yeah, I thought there was him.
There was a Scott, Dana, and Charity that were also in the car.
Right.
So, they're coming from Murray and driving to Florida, Eustis, Florida, which is where Heather and her family and also Rod's grandparents would live.
Yes.
Heather met them outside the family home. Okay, and now there's 2 others staying in the car, and Rod went inside where the parents were. And Heather, like, stayed outside or went in the car with him? I'm not sure.
No. Yeah, she wasn't in the house. Mm-hmm. All the girls, I think, stayed out in the car.
Okay, yeah.
I do believe that was established. It was just him and the other dude.
Yeah, and so he went in, or they went in through the garage and looked for a weapon and found a crowbar in the garage. And at this point, the mother was in the shower, so she doesn't hear anything.
Right.
The father is on the couch, and the TV is up real loud, so he didn't hear anything.
Right.
And he was, like, napping or something, or watching TV, I'm not sure. But anyway. So, Rod, like, sneaks up behind the father and hit him across the head and knocked him out, and he decided he wasn't quite dead yet, so he kept, like, beating him in the head and chest until he stopped breathing. Then he heads to the bedroom. Now, the mother apparently had some coffee, in there. She's getting out of the shower, and she threw it on him, clawed him in the face, and grabbed his wrists. At this point,
good job. Get that DNA under your fingernails, girl. Get it.
So then he started hitting her in the back of the head first, and then in front of the head, and, she ends up dead too. So then, everybody heads back outside. They change the tags on the car, and then...
They had the best master plan of any 500-year-old vampire. They were going to New Orleans so they could go to Rod's favorite arcade. I love it.
Oh, fuck.
I love it. We just fuck shit up, man. I'm a 500-year-old vampire. We're going to New Orleans so we can
let's get some
go to an arcade
and play some video games.
Yeah, no shit, right? Dragon's Lair, here I come.
Mortal fucking Kombat, man.
Yeah, no shit.
I probably still remember some of the combos.
That's just, I'm sorry. That's
Street Fighter.
You just murder people and you want to drive 3 freaking states to go to an arcade? And this is where you...
Must be a pretty fucking good arcade.
Well, this is where it's like the actions of like literally like stupid kids. Stupid fucking kids.
Yeah.
Didn't think this shit through, but...
And they didn't have any fucking money either, so how are you gonna go because... 3 states away with needing gas and food and place to stay?
And that's where... And how they get caught, because they had no money.
Yep.
One of the girls, I think it was Charity, called her grandmother, who lives in South Dakota, asking for money. And so this shit had already blown up all over the news at this point. And her grandmother, well, it might not have. It seems like it should have, because like they were. And if that's the case too, like how dumb are you that you don't have not listening to the radio? That's where it's like so totally weird, at the same time, because that just seems like one of those self-indulgent things that Rod would totally be all about, because he's just a complete and utter narcissist. So it's one of the girls calls her grandmother. Her grandmother's aware of what's going on and is like, oh yeah, I'll help you out. Go to this like Howard Johnson and I'll get you a room.
Yep.
And in the meantime, the grandmother calls the cops. So all they got when they got to the Howard Johnson was fucking arrested.
Yep. And then like after being under arrest, Rod is like sticking his tongue out and blowing kisses to the reporters and shit.
He was a dipshit.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, throughout this, and he was, I do believe, sentenced to the death penalty. Was he not?
Yeah. Okay, so he was born in 1980, and he was 18 when he was sentenced to the electric chair.
Yes. Yeah, so, because he officially became the youngest person to ever receive the death penalty in the state of Florida, I do believe.
So this is 98, and it's like it's also right about the time of Columbine, and this is when everybody was...
This predated Columbine.
Yeah,
Columbine happened in 99. That was our graduating year.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, it was just like...
And this is why people looked at me funny,
Right? Yeah, he did plead guilty. He pleaded guilty to the murders and became the youngest person in Florida history to receive the death by electric chair. And, he did claim that the others were innocent. Except Scott Anderson. Scott Anderson, I believe, got charged with accessory or something.
Mm-hmm.
It seemed weird if he wouldn't, but I know Rod claimed he was just accessory.
Yeah, and then those other 2 girls got like 17 and 10 years.
Yes.
And then Heather got just released.
Now, the Florida Supreme Court reduced his sentence to life.
Yeah.
They reduced it from death to life. Okay, so Scott Anderson, Howard Scott Anderson, he was resentenced by a circuit judge to 40 years in prison, and he was given credit for the 22 years that he had served. The documentary that we watched and mentioned, like
Kentucky
I said...
Teenage Vampires.
Yes, they're watching that. There's just something, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but there's just something about Rod Farrell that, like I said, like, I'm sorry, I think it was just a matter of time. That dude, no matter what, I think was a ticking time bomb. Now, I know that since jail, or since he's gone to prison, they have diagnosed him with, a mental illness. I can't remember. Is it the schizotypo? Is that it? Did I say it right?
I know Pazuzu has schizotypal, I think.
Yes,
I mean,
so does Rod Farrell.
Because I was watching Dr. Grande's channel, and because after we did the Pazuzu episode, that just came up on my recommendations, and I'm like, oh, I didn't know that Dr. Grande did it too.
Right. Okay, they tried. That was it. His attorneys tried to argue that he was insane. And he had been diagnosed with mental disorders, including schizotypal personality disorder, and Asperger's syndrome.
Mm-hmm.
The University of Florida further attested that Rod could sometimes witness spiritual things like angels and demons.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So this was during his trial, though. Mm-hmm. So, we know how that works. That's just sometimes like the defense's stance on things. Like they're going to say,
Yeah, I don't know that much about schizotypal. I know it's in cluster A along with schizoid, but schizoid does not have the delusions, whereas schizotypal can have like some strange thoughts and, not like breaks with reality.
Being a 500-year-old vampire?
Like being a 500-year-old vampire.
Okay.
Or the guy from The Exorcist, Pazuzu.
Right. Yeah, right. Yeah. I don't think that, like, he deserved death at the young age. And that's the other thing is, like, since there's not a whole lot of background on him, like, we don't know, like, did he always have these disorders? Had he been treated? I mean, it seems like he wasn't,
Well, they can't even diagnose you with a personality disorder before 18, so.
Okay, so that's
21 or 18. Something. I think it's
that I don't know.
Yeah, they can diagnose you with autism or Asperger's, but PDs they're supposed to wait till you're an adult.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, because it could also be like normal kid, like kids have imaginary friends or whatever. You know what I mean? It's all just sometimes in imagination play. So yeah, I don't know. There's just, like I said, there's just something about him, though. Just watching that, I was like the other kids in the documentary, I could be like, oh, haha, they're kids. They're kids being kids, even though they're adults and they're the same age as us, now. But then, I mean, watching them and hearing them then, it was like, yeah, you can write the others off as just like, this is a silly kid shit. But like, come on, kids, bloodborne pathogen, stop that. And, that's just the mom in me going, hey, stop it. Put that down. Yeah. But whatever.
That's like my post-COVID, germaphobe shit. Like, ooh, body fluids.
Yeah. Yeah. Where like people even, I'm like, oh God, you coughed or sneezed. Like, get away from me.
Yeah, cover that shit up.
Yeah. Put your damn mask on. But if he hadn't have got if he wasn't this impulsive, and this was, I don't want to say it was premeditated, it was definitely egged on, or suggested, and he just kind of picked up the ball and ran. You're a kid and you make reckless, impulsive decisions.
Well, their brains aren't developed yet until, 22 or so.
Right. Which is why
long-term consequences, as it were.
Right. Which also factors into that ruling that the Supreme Court had done, where certain juvenile offenders can have their cases re-examined and stuff. Now, Farrell had that done. He had filed to seek that or utilize that, and he was denied. What? Because he's older in that documentary. It had been a couple of years. Like a few years had passed, I thought, between when he had committed the crimes and when that documentary was filmed.
Yeah.
And even then, it's like, this is not a person to, you shouldn't want to emulate any of these people because, in their own rights, and I'm not trying to be harsh here, but they are societal losers. They made poor decisions. They murdered people. That's not a cool thing to do. That's not how we behave. And this one just fucked up young. I think if he had gotten, after the puppies and stuff too, that's a huge indicator.
Yeah.
Like that's
nothing good follows that.
No. And even the pictures and yes, if you watch the documentary,
it shows mutilated, like puppies cut in half and shit.
Yes. Like, so, that there's your
Content
warning. And yes. Animal cruelty, graphic animal cruelty. And he was starting small, man. He was trying to get a cult.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing about him, though, that got me watching that too. I was like, ooh, you're hitting all the Charlie beats. You just weren't as fucking charismatic. Because I kind of thought he was really dull. Rod Farrell wasn't charismatic. He
didn't even play guitar or anything.
No, he was just the only thing he did well was pretentious wanker. But no, I really think that in his own mind, if you know, digging further into it, I really think that he wanted to be like a Charlie Manson type.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I really do.
Dumb kid shit.
Dumb kid shit. You know, unfortunately, these were kids who, you know, took 2 lives and spent, you know what, most of them spent a good chunk of their lives in prison. So imagine how that would suck, like wasting your youth in prison, like, you know, getting out when you're 40
for doing one stupid thing.
Makes no sense to me. I don't know, but
yeah,
I guess that's a good thing.
Yeah.
You know, my crazy is a different crazy. It's not the murderous crazy.
Yeah. See, my crazy is not leaving the house and not talking to people crazy.
My crazy is like I'll get caught talking to myself in public. I don't know.
Well,
I gotta coach myself.
Dude. Like,
I know.
Wearing a mask for so long. No, I'm like, I can talk to myself and nobody. I'm like talking.
Yes. And then people wonder why.
What kind of brown mustard's good? You know.
Yeah.
I'm saying this in the grocery store.
Like life coaching myself through like, you know, the little things like, okay, get this, get that, get this,
garlic
get that.
olives.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, you know, where we're at, people are like, oh, you can take your mask off. And I'm like, I have to pull a Valentina. I'd like to keep it on, please.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we have stickers.
Lots of stickers.
We have merchandise too.
Mm-hmm.
Don't forget our merchandise. Yes. Links are fun.
3-inch circle this time. I think the other ones were a little smaller, 2.5 or something.
And I'm wearing one of our fancy logo racerback shirts.
Oh, cool.
If you can see it.
Yep.
You can also check out some of our past episodes too. We have Pazuzu Algarad and our Marilyn Manson episode. If you want the 90s tie-in.
I'm like eating olives over here because I'm clearly like deficient. I mean, like,
right?
Like in sodium, not like mentally.